Okay, our next section is about surface area, where we're looking to solve for the surface area of a cylinder. The easiest way to think about looking at the surface area of a cylinder is to use one of these. This is called a net, where you imagine the total surface area of the cylinder. First of all, you have what I would call the soup label. Officially, this is called the lateral surface area of the cylinder. And then, of course, you have a top and a bottom, or the two bases would be another way to look at it. So when we look at this surface area of a cylinder, we basically come up with three different calculations. These two are the same, of course, so it's really just one or two calculations. Okay, so when we're looking at the surface area of a cylinder, we have bases, the surface area of those. Well, they're both circular, so it would be pi r squared. And in this case, it would be pi r squared here. So all we need to know is the radius of either the top or the bottom base. And we can solve for the surface area of one or the other. And if we take them in combination, we can look at it as 2 pi r squared. I'll brighten that up since my board here is beating. Okay, so we've got 2 pi r squared gives us that part of the surface area. The other part of the surface area, this part here, well, if you think about that, this right here, this part here, represents the distance around the circle. This edge here, the distance across the top here or across the bottom, whichever way you want to look at it, represents the circumference of the circle. And the way I always teach students to look at the circumference of the circle is that it's pi times the diameter. However, in this case, it's probably easier to look at it as 2 times the radius. In other words, 2 radii, 2 radius together, would be 1 diameter, and then pi, 2 radius, would be the distance of 1 diameter, like I said, and then you multiply it by pi, and that gives you the circumference, because the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. So 2 radius and then the pi. Okay? But now in order to get, since that represents the circumference, the distance across the top or the bottom of the lateral surface area, you can then multiply by the height of that, and it's like this is a rectangle with a length of 2 pi r and a width of h. So when we put this together, we have 2 pi r h. This is the area of this. This is the area of the two bases, the two circles. So if we look for the total surface area, and this is probably this right here is why I would recommend that you see this as 2 pi r h, because if we add the two together, it becomes a really easy to remember formula. The total surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r h, this part, plus 2 of the pi r squareds, the circles. 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. And you can see why that makes sense, because it's a nice, easy formula to memorize. And of course, it should be on your gold sheet. When we go to the sample problems, they're really quite easy. We have a surface area of 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. All you need to know is the radius and the height. And you can calculate this. And in problem number 1, they give you a radius of 2 and a height of 7. So it's a matter of putting those numbers into the formula. It's 2 times pi times the radius times the height. That's the the lateral surface area. And then the two circles are 2 pi radius of 2 squared. Plug it into the calculator, and you have 113.1 meters squared. Notice we are using square units here because we're being asked for surface area. This is surface area. Since we're looking for an area, and area is in 2 dimensions, we're going to use squared for all of our units. So it's 113.1 meters squared. Please press pause and do letters A and B. Problem number 2, they give you a height. I listed height first here because they put height first in the word problem, and then they also give you the radius of 35. So, but it's key to notice that they are asking for the fencing only. In other words, they are asking for this part of the circle, just the fence around the circle. What is the area of that fence? Or in other words, in official words, a lateral surface area. So we just use the surface area, and I would say lateral surface area of the circle, which is the 2 pi RH. So it's 2 times pi times a radius of 35 times a height of 2. And again, put it into the calculator, it is 439.8 square feet. Pause and do letters C and D.